What is up, everybody? It's your boy Brendan, aka Drip, back with another video. In today's video, we had a requested combo slash discussion on my most recent runic ORCUST deck. And I can't. I don't know if I at this point if I uploaded this video or my other deck profiles first. That's why I kind of wanted to tell which one it was. That it was the ORCUST runic one, because I know I mentioned in the deck profile that I'm going to be doing other versions of ORCUST now that our boy's back. So this is a discussion video. It's not just a combo video, so I will be talking my head off and rambling and stuff, so be aware of that, because I want to give my full thoughts on everything. And not to mention, I actually changed a couple of things in the main deck from the original deck list. It's all experimental. The main deck is, I think, like I said before, I think the extra deck is perfect there. I probably won't change a single card in the extra deck, but in this version, that is. But the main deck, I actually buckled and I tried, at least online, the versions running the Upstart Goblins and stuff, and I added a second copy of Runic Dispelling. I really think Dispelling, like I mentioned in my deck profile, is going to be the MVP in forms of defensive, like, runic cards. Because, like, for an example, playing against, like, Fire Kings or something, when they use their field spell to add, if they have turn priority, obviously, to try to summon the Runics, right? Well, when on resolution of their Fire King Island, they go Runics, you go Chainlink 2 Dispelling to potentially rip their Runics. And if you rip their Runics, and feels good, or something else potentially. Granted, I'm pretty sure they can still summon the Runics because it can summon itself from hand or graveyard, but it's still really nice to potentially rip something else. But if you're wanting to know what I swapped for what I'm currently on now, is I took the second copy of Wand and the second copy of Skeleton, and then one Crescendo and the Talents. I took those out for 3 Upstart and a second Dispelling, which I don't really know how I feel about that. Like I said, the main deck is all in like testing phase, but the Upstart Goblin doesn't really matter that much. It does, but it doesn't, because since we run Zoroboros. Since we run Zoroboros, it doesn't matter giving them life. We just, by turn 3, turn 4, we kill them regardless. Even if they have 10,000 life points. Or we get them down low enough to where it doesn't matter. So, but I still just don't know how I feel about it, but consistency over everything, and that's what matters. Also, dropping the Crescendo down to 2, I feel like I really want to try to find a way to put it back to 3, because I feel like I just feel more comfortable with it. And then the other names at 1 kind of sucks, definitely, if Bestials run around. So if Bestials become popular, then we're going to have to reevaluate this and come back to it and try to put my names back to 2. Because once we get names in rotation, it's fine. We can keep going. But like if Gears 2 resolves and then we send like Harp and then they like Bestial it, we just summon a token off of this, make Link Revo, make Galatea, shuffle back our Harp or whatever, and then we still end with what we need to. So, but like, I don't know. This is just very early stage. I just wanted to let you guys know that's what I've changed thus far. But so there will be proxies in the main deck. The backwards cards will be the Upstart Goblins. I'm sorry, mine haven't come in the mail yet. No one was ready for that ban list. No one ever thought we would ever get a draw card back to 3. Maybe Desires, yeah, but Upstart Goblin is just too freaking free, it feels like. But another thing too, Dispelling will be really good against Rescue Ace too, now that they have Airlifter to 1, and if they start out with the Bellstar package, it feels really nice. Because then they go Dia Spellstar, set original, activate the original, summon the hydrant effect to add, and then on resolution you could potentially rip whatever, whether it's the Airlifter or anything else in their hand. So, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into combo number 1. All right, guys, here we are at combo number 1. And I know a lot of people, it's usually like a split decision when it comes to like me talking. I know a lot of people hate it, and I know a lot of people don't mind it. I'm sorry for the people who don't like it. I can't help it. I like to try to set you guys up with all the information that I have gathered this far, so you basically are ahead of the game compared to where I was at, and that's just my style of content creating, and I can't help it. I don't think I'll ever be able to veer from it, so I'm sorry if it bothers you. Um, but let's go ahead and test this out. Harp, Upstart Goblin. Remember I mentioned that. Imperm, Flashing Fire, and Destruction. This is actually a very solid hand. You have several options here. Um, I would probably in the draw phase or whatever, bait the Ash Blossom, but the Hugin discards for cost. So you have a couple options. You can go ahead and go to main phase here and worry about draw or not. So, but we're going to try to play around draw, even though this deck doesn't really care about draw that much besides the runic cards. So here we'll go Destruction. Gotta make sure we're still in frame. Destruction effect. Summon the Hugin in the extra monster zone. I'm gonna try to zoom out a little bit. There we go. There we go. All right. So we got Hugin. Hugin effect will pitch for cost. So we'll pitch the Heart for cost to potentially grab the Runic Fountain. Granted, this is all going to be, all these test hands are going to be as if they don't have hand traps. But as we go, I'm also going to reference what to try to play around like I did at the beginning. Like you're going to try to play around draw, etc., etc. Of course, both the fountains will be right beside each other. Why not? I would hold the upstart until you filter through your deck, basically. So we would go ahead and go Orcus combo first because we already got the runic build version online, and you want to thin out your deck with Orcus cards to potentially use the upstart to draw into runic cards. So now, what we'll do is we'll go Harp. Still not in frame. All right. So we'll banish the Harp. Harp effect, and this is where it gets really broken because these two never really got to play with each other because Harp got banned because of stupid striker players. Activate summon effect. Got to get another name in rotation, which will be Nightmare. It's the next best one. Now what we can do is Nightmare, target anything. A lot of people, I'm going to say this. I know a lot of us old heads, when it comes to us old head Orcus players, we know what these cards do. But I want to mention this for people who are new to the deck or new to the game. So just bear with me on that. When you use Nightmare's effect to banish, it has to target. It can target anything. It can target your monsters or your opponents, and it doesn't have to just send Orcus monsters. It can send any dark machine, and then whatever you target, it gains attack times times 100 by the level. So if you send a level 4, it gains 400. Level 8, 800, etc., etc. So this can send any dark machine. AKA, like if you're playing the versions that are not runic and are playing the Gizmic Orochi, there you go. I just don't like Gizmic in the runic version because you just banish all your runic cards. So we banish, target. That's why I like Nightmare now is like if you don't have anything on board again, going second, Nightmare is like a 1-card combo because you can target your opponent stuff, send Harp, Harp summon this, and then you're gassed out. But here we got to get access to the wand. So we'll send the wand. Gearsu will gain 800 attack, so it puts him at 26. We're playing Runic, so it doesn't matter, but for when it does, you know. All right. Now, what we can do is banish the wand, summon the Harp. You want to keep Harp in rotation, definitely, until you burn through all your Gearsus. Once you burn through your Gearsus, you don't really need to keep this in rotation anymore. Then you will start rotating your Skeleton and your wands. Wand in this version is just a singular. These two into Galatea Bay. Now, well, you really want to put the wand back since I cut it to 1. If you weren't, then you could put back anything, but put back the wand. Set the crescendo. We know that's crescendo. Now, what we can do is we have two options. We can make Girsu, Ding Girsu, and then link into another Galatea if you want. Probably what I'll do, Ding effect, equip, and then we'll link these two into another copy of Galatea. We'll then activate the Runic Fountain, activate the Upstart Goblin, draw a card, Slumber. Set the imperm, and then we have a potential draw 3 on our opponent's turn because we have Destruction, and then we have these two. And then we have one pop, 2 negates, and potential draw 3 into more Runic cards on our opponent's turn. Granted, this wasn't really like full combo, but it kind of did the job. Full combo is IP Masquerena and this plus this board pretty much. But we still have 1, 2, 3 potentially or more interruptions, which is still very nice. Definitely if it's well timed. Just remember when you're playing these like control version of ORCUST or any control deck for that matter, you get more value out of properly timing your interruptions. And definitely the best way to do that is know the format. So what I can tell you, if you're new to the game, just take all this with a grain of salt. Like if you are a veteran to the game, so like I'm trying to like be able to help everybody. So if you're new to the game, when you're playing these control type decks, the best thing that can make you a better player and make you a better control player is know the format. And what I mean by that is learn what the decks do and learn to play the deck as if you're going to play the deck. So that comes to Fire Kings, it comes to Rescue Ace, the Mirror, anything that you would think would be in the format. It's good to know those matchups or know what those decks are trying to do, because if you know what the decks are trying to do, you'll indirectly learn what their crit points are, so you'll know what to hit, so you get a lot more mileage out of your interruptions instead of just shotgunning everything. So because that's where the game boils down to, is where the interruption was properly timed. So that's it for combo number 1. Let's go ahead and get into combo number 2. All right, here we are, combo number 2. One thing to learn is there will be times where you'll see just ORCUST Engine and hardly any Runic, or vice versa. You'll just see Runic and not ORCUST. I try to get a perfect middle ground to where you'd see both, but this is a control version of ORCUST. So it takes a while to build up to be able to kill. So you have to keep that in mind too. But if you properly time your stuff and you didn't draw complete cheeks, then you should be okay. Imperm, Slumber, Return, Skeleton, Crescendo. See, like this hand is butt cheeks. Like one Ash kills us. For the most part. Thinking how to play this. What I would do is bait for Ash. A lot of people would probably shotgun the return, but then you just go hard neg. I would probably go Slumber. Slumber effect. What's up, Discord? I heard this. If you heard the Discord notification. If you're not part of the Discord fam, join the part of the Discord fam. Hugin would pitch the Crescendo here, just to give us some follow up if need be, and this will bait for Ash. If they don't ash it, then we're fine. And most likely, if they don't ash that, then they probably don't have the ash, unless they're just holding it for Fountain. In that case, then if that's the case, then you can't do nothing about that. So now what we'll do is, if they didn't ash that, we have to do this: activate Return, pitch the Skeleton, and hope for a miracle. There you go. That's a miracle. Miracle is answered. You love to see it. Now what we can do is activate the Fountain, Activate the tip. Probably just add the freezing curse. Now we will activate the fountain, targeting the tip, and the slumber. Put it on the bottom of the deck. Draw 2. And there you go. Just like that, if we didn't get Ash, we're right back in the game. Now we would normal summon the Gear Stew and go full combo. Granted, yes, like I said, if we got Ash right there, we probably would have been passing turn. But if we got Ash on this, what we would have done was normal summon the skeleton, link into Galatea, and then just set there or anything else. And then on our opponent's turn, we could banish the Crescendo to search for Gearsu or any kind of follow up. But like I said, we're just pretending our opponent's not goated and drawing hand traps. So this is just going to turn into standard effect right here. Send the horror. Activate harp. This is why we play a second copy of Nightmare. This is another reason why I like playing second copies of everything. But I want to try to maximize consistency in the form of like draw cards. I kind of wanted to take approach on this, even though I hate the deck that I'm about to mention. I kind of wanted to take approach on kind of like Striker, how they play a bunch of spells. All their spells are their consistency spells, and it's kind of the same way with Runick. Link these 2 off for the Galatea. Now our skeleton's already in graveyard, so we're just litty-fitty. Activate the skeleton. Summon the Nightmare. Link these 2. For Masquerino. Activate skeleton. I mean, not skeleton. Galatea. Shuffle back the skeleton to set the Crescendo. This is another reason why I kind of want to play 3. I really am going to bust my rear end to try to fit 3 in here, even if I have to run a 41 card deck. I'm wanting to potentially put 3 in here because, like that very reason right there, you draw 1, you force to pitch it, and you're just SOL pretty much, and it sucks because now we only got 1 true interruption with Orcus left, which is this one, because we don't have any more in deck. And we don't play the Babel to do the Dingirsu line, because if it's kind of pointless to run Babel in a deck that's primarily Runick. So now we would set the Imperm. I'm just going to put these face up so you know what they are. So on our opponent's turn, we have a destruction of a spell or trap, an Imperm, a Omni Negate and a Banish, a Negate, and a SP Little Knight, or an like anything you want, an SP Little Knight or a Azalea. Just know that you don't have 4 spells in graveyard, so the Azalea would die. So it's mainly going to be SP Little Knight. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interruptions, maybe 4 if they don't play a spell or trap. So 1, 2, 3, 4 interruptions, and follow up in graveyard in the form of Nightmare and potentially Crescendo on your draw phase or whatever, to search another Gearsu or add back a banish name, a face-up banish name. So you're pretty gassed out. Besides obviously that situation where Ash would have like killed us right there, but it is just part of the game. You can try to maximize on consistency, but a deck will always draw somewhat unplayable hands. It's just nature of the game. I'll do one more combo, one more test hand, and I think that'll probably wrap it up, and then we'll probably just switch over to the discussion part if you want to listen to that. But I'll see you guys in the combo number 3. All right, here we are, combo number 3. But I think this deck is very solid and stands a very good chance of like being very optimal, like to Rogue. It's just going to boil down to what you play against and how you play it. Like this hand is butt cheeks. All right. Now what we do is we bait the ash. We go return, send for cost, draw 2. Now what we do is they didn't ash it. Yay! 1-card combo. Foolish Burial is a 1-card combo. Remember when I said sometimes you draw hands that are just Orcus and sometimes you just draw hands that are Runick? Remind you, since I optimized this build, I'm running 17 quick play spells. 17 quick play spells. And I didn't draw a single one. Off a draw 2. So out of 5 cards, on my opening 5, and then I drew 2 and still didn't draw one. Sometimes it just happens. Can't do nothing about it. Some people just have bad luck, aka me. So what we'll do here is we'll send the 1-card combo, aka Harpour, even though Foolish Burial is a 1-card combo. So now you go Harpour, banish. Guess who we're going to go get? The boy, the man, the myth, the machine. Girsu. Cringe. I'm sorry. Ignore me. Effect. Descend the Orchestrated Nightmare. Now what we'll do is actually, to get the +1, you'll go effect. This is where I'm moving the hand out of the way. We get to use the little old World Legacy tokens. Now what I like to do when you place the tokens, you need to figure out, if you're going first, figure out where you're going to put Galatea in which zone, and put the other token you give your opponent to the zone the Galatea points to force them to either play Link Karibo or not be able to destroy your Galatea by battle. So you always want to protect your Galatea from ahead the standpoint. So in this case, I'm just going to say, I'm going to put it right here. So Galatea will be pointing right there. Okay. So now we'll link the token off into Link Karibo. I'm just going to put this over here so you can not see it, but see it at the same time. Okay. All right. Now what we can do is, sorry, that's my dog playing with her toy. Banish the Nightmare, target anything. I'm just going to target the Girsu. Send the Skelly Boy. Skelly Boy. Skelly Boy. Alright. Now, banish the Wand. Summon the Skull. What am I doing? Banish the Wand. Summon the Nightmare. Link these 2 off for the best girl, Galatea. So now, granted, you can barely see it, but this token up here, Galatea is pointing to, so it provides yourself with some protection. Now, what we can do is Galatea effect, shuffle back the Wand, since it's our one of, because we run 2 Nightmare. Set the Crescendo. I'm just going to leave it face up so you know. Now, we activate the Skeleton to summon back the Harp. Link these 2 off. Grabbing my main deck. Throwing for the IP Masquerena. Now, our hand is double Imperm. So we'll set the double Imperm. We have a Nightmare in hand. Don't activate the Fountain, because if your opponent doesn't know you're on the Runick engine, you don't want to let them know. And you're just leaving it out there to be destroyed. So, even with the poo-poo hand, and just off Foolish Burial, pretty much, off Foolish Burial, we ended on this. 1, 2, 3, 4 interruptions with just a Foolish Burial. Granted, we hard drew these, yes. So, technically, Foolish Burial, we ended on 1, 2 interruptions for the people who's going to be, like, in the comment section. 2 interruptions. Well, I think we hard drew 1. We drew the other one, the return. But yeah, Foolish Burial is nasty. Now Harpour is back. But like I said, you'll have those times where you don't see the other engine. Where there will be some times where you just see Runick engine and you won't see no ORCUST engine, which is insane because we run Foolish Burial, we run 3 Girsu, we run 1 Armageddon Knight, and then we run 2 Nightmare. So that's a lot. But hey, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just part of the game. But I think that's actually it for the combo section, because if you can see, it's just very streamlined. all you want to do with this deck is loop, crescendo. That's it. With the Orcus part, since you're playing a control version of Orcus with the Runick package, the only thing you want to do is loop crescendo. So Galatea, shuffle, set crescendo. Galatea, shuffle, set crescendo. Just keep using crescendo and your Runick cards to kill your opponent. Then when it comes time to just end their misery, you just link everything off into the Zeroboros. You just link into Zeroboros, and then by that time you've resolved so many Runick cards that this card will be huge, plus your bench pile will be kind of big, and then you just poke for game. That's literally the entire strategy of the deck. So just keep that in mind. That's another reason why I want to try to find a way to put a third crescendo in here without going over 40, but I just don't think that's going to be an option because I've run 17 Runick cards, and there's not a single one that I potentially want to cut, except for maybe Destruction, because Destruction is only going to be good against Labyrinth, so I could potentially, if you wanted to, cut that down to 2. But as you see, I run 17 or 17 Runick cards and didn't draw a single one. So after thoroughly shuffling 2, so I don't know. I might go to 41. I might drop a Destruction down to 40, but I think the rest of the Runick cards are too mandatory to even touch those. Like the Freezing Curse, Flashing Fire, Dispelling. Dispelling is just going to be too good, I think, this format. Off of Rescue Ace, any Manadium, Fire Kings, anything that adds. To force them to go neg, because they'd add to try to go plus. Well, you just dispel them to go neg. So, and then potentially use Fountain to draw into more interruptions, so you are by far light years ahead of them. So that because the whole point of this deck, or just Runick in general, is to out resource your opponent. And I honestly feel that Dispelling is the best card to do that, because there's so many decks in this game that like to add from deck to hand. That's why there's so many decks that just get FTK'd by Droll. So, like, what's more, like, what's putting your opponent more in a disadvantage than them adding a card, burning a card to add a card, and then ripping a card? It basically is like every time they're trying to walk, let's just say someone's trying to always walk forward, and you just have your hands on their shoulders, and you're just holding them back, and they just walking in place pretty much. That's pretty much what you're doing. You're putting your opponent on a freaking treadmill, and they can't go nowhere because you're just forcing them to lose card advantage. Now, if you're playing against like a deck that has graveyard effects, like using Dispelling to like accidentally rip like a Water Enchantress or something would freaking suck ass, but it's all part of the game. But if you're playing like against a Manadium or something, and they go like Planet to add, and then you end up like ripping a Ream Heart or a Meek or something like that, that shit would feel good, dude. It'd feel really good. And then like against Fire Kings, you rip a fire out of their hand or something. It just, I don't know. The list goes on. I think Dispelling is going to be the one because like in formats where board presence is like necessary, then that's where Flashing Fire comes up. And then targeting effects, that's where Freezing Curses come up. But if you get in a format where all 3 are necessary, like where there's decks that require all 3, then that's where Runick shines. And I kind of think that's where we're going to be shifting into a format. Mainly between Freezing Curses and Dispelling. I don't really know about Flashing Fire when it comes to board presence, or what deck really matters about that. Besides maybe Fire Kings, because if you put them off from being able to make their rank 8 chicken, then you're sitting pretty good. But yeah, I think, I don't know. It's up to those 2 options. Running either 41 or dropping Destruction to 2. Because technically we're already running, if we do that, we're running 5 in the form of 3 your tips. Because one thing to know about tip is holding your tip. If you hold the tip until until you know what you're playing against, and this is where it comes up to knowing your matchup that I said at the beginning of this video. If you hold the tip until you know what you're playing against and you know which angle they're going for their combo, then you could just use tip to search whatever you want whatever you think is going to stop them. Like, for an example, if you know you're playing against Rescue Ace, for example, they go special summon Hydrant. Okay, cool. You can't really negate that anyways with any of your stuff besides like Crescendo, because it can't be targeted if they control another name. So you know the number one crit point on them is Turbulence. Okay, you have Tip in hand, but you don't have Freezing Curses. Okay, cool. Summon, or they go Emergency, and then you chain Tip to Emergency. Go get Freezing Curses. Now you have what you need to stop the Turbulence from resolving. You're playing against Labyrinth, okay? They go Ariana, add Butler. Let's say they're just trying to turn zeroed shenanigans. Ariana, effect to add. On resolution of them adding Butler, you go chain Tip, go get Destruction. Destruction is set whatever they're going to try to whatever they're going to try to set. Granted, if it's a welcome card, then you're technically going neg because they just chain to it anyways because they control a Labyrinth and they set it up Butler. But you catch my drift. You can hold the Tip until whenever you need to go get whatever you need to, but don't hold it too long, because if you do, then you just get punished. Because if you hold it too long and they're already further ahead, they'll just activate the effect before you can even grab whatever you want off Tip. So it's where it comes down to, like I said before, talking in circles, knowing the matchup. It's the number one thing. And that's another reason why I like a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players will tell you to branch out and play different kinds of Yu-Gi-Oh decks. And what that means is, like, excuse me, combo, mid-range, and control. If you can get your hand on like your knowledge on all three versions of like the game, then you'll be sitting really well, and that you'll already shoot yourself light years past a lot of other Yu-Gi-Oh players that play this game. And that's all you want to do is set yourself up, and that's all I want to do as a content creator for you guys, is to set yourself up and us to potentially grow together and become better duelists together. That's why I like, if I miss something or something, you guys let me know in the comment section down below with respectfully. A couple of people are not very respectful when they do that, but and vice versa. That's why I make these videos, to help you guys. So, but other than that, I think that's pretty much it with the discussion and the combo. It's, like I said, it's very streamlined. You got three things: Runick, and then loop Crescendo, and then kill them with Zeraboros. That's all you got to worry about. It's a very easy deck to learn, very easy deck to play, and it has different avenues of things, and it's very hard to like kind of stop this deck, because there's so many different things that your opponent will have to play to potentially try to stop it. Like draw, okay, you draw me, okay, I just switch gears to ORCUST. Okay, you're going to bestial me, then I just either have an extender, or I just play Runick and kill you with either or. And then, but yeah, if I have an extender, then your bestial just put a name in the banish pile for me to be able to shuffle back with Galatea to set a Crescendo. That shit happens all the time, and it's very amusing. But other than that, if you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section down below, or you can message me in Discord or in my Discord server. You can tag me in there or whatever, or ask anybody in there, and they'll gladly help you if I, for some odd reason, can't get to you. But I watch for all the comments and messages in Discord, so I'm always on top of that. But if you guys don't mind, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already as well. Bell notifications so you never miss an upload. And check the description for all the ways to support me: Discord, Patreon, merch store, and even my my TCG link is down there below. Doesn't cost you anything. Just think of it as a quick way access to TCG Player, and whatever you buy, I get a kickback, so you help the channel. But it's zero charge for you guys. So, but with that being said, I love you guys so much, and it's your boy Brandon, aka Drip, sign out from Team D. Peace. Good dueling, my guys.